respond? How do you respond to instruction? How do we get your attention? How do we, for a guy, a female will tell us, hey, do this, do that, this, that, and the third. But for a and so you're like, hey, I like it when leave the toilet seat down, right? That shows that you care about her. Oh, okay, guys, I get it. It's annoying for us, but we eventually will do it. We'll do it for you. But women, how do we get through to y'all? Because we can't just come out and say, hey, I like it when you park on the left side of the drive in the garage. Because I'm a little bit taller, and when I get out the car, I always make sure that I make room for you, right? See, these are the things we think about. It's little logistics, and then y'all like get mad thinking we're petty. And it might seem petty to you. And maybe it is a little bit petty as a man, but it's just like, work with me. So how do we come to you for something that, like, deep down inside, you really didn't care which side of the garage you parked on? How do we know? Because you would park on this side that day. You get home before me. So you would park on the left side one day, park on the right side that day, and you'd have the whole garage to yourself. There's no rhyme or reason. We're men, we like consistency. So we're like, okay, well, let me just park on the left. And, and then we just like, instead of feeling some type of way, we just like, oh, okay, well, let me go talk to her. And let me just tell you what I would prefer. I would prefer if you just parked on the right side. Somebody's got to make a decision. Now, all of a sudden, you think I'm being petty. So how do we talk to you, women? That was the question I have. How do we talk to you? How do we approach you? How do we say the thing to you? For the little things, after we give you what you want, but at the same time, you in this relationship with me, right? So how do we talk to you that you can receive it? Word to this, word to my mother. I found someone, Olivia.
I'm about to dive into a
She's
topic
diving
that
into
most
it.
people skirt around because they don't want to ruffle feathers. But I'm not most people. You've seen it. I've seen it. We've all seen it. The dreaded lack of accountability in women. In today's society.
Now, this is something that I did not know. I got to pause it. I did not know that women, until recently, that women have a problem with lack of accountability. Because the thing is women are very responsible. But when it comes to being accountable, there's a big difference. What is the difference? Responsible means you'll pay your bills. You'll do this. But when it comes to accountable, if you broke a glass or a dish, you won't just say you did it. You got to come up with some elaborate excuse like, well, I was on the phone talking to Janet, and Janet said something that shocked me, and so I dropped the cup that was in my hand, and it happened to be your favorite cup. And I know you told me don't use your favorite cup, but I was just making me a quick coffee. There was all the other dishes was in the dishwasher. So there's a difference between accountability and responsible. So accountability is, instead of just saying it was your fault, you dropped the cup, you should have never used it, it was my favorite cup, I got it from high school, or I got it from college, right? It was a gift to me from my first promotion from a boss of mine, a supervisor who passed away, who happened to be my mentor, the most impressionable mentor I had. He just gave me a coffee cup. And it meant a lot to me. It's just a coffee cup to you, but to me, it meant a lot. And you broke it. You broke it. And you're blaming Janet because you're on the phone talking to her instead of being accountable. And to men, we just don't understand this because we'd be like, yo, if I open up the door and I bump your car, like, I just tell you straight up, like, my bad, I'm sorry, we fall on the sword. But see, for women, it's different, so I had to learn this. So women, please help me understand, how do we understand how to get you to talk to us accountably? How to get you to come to us and be accountable for your actions. I'm not standing there with a checklist like y'all do. We're not on that type of time. So word to Olivia Alexa. Let's see what you got for us, sis.
We're force-fed this narrative of female empowerment. And I get it to a certain extent, but we are seriously missing the mark when that empowerment is mistaken for entitlement and accountability is thrown out the window. We're caught up in a world that shields women from accountability, a world that allows, encourages, and even incentivizes them to escape from the consequences of their actions. See, women always like to talk about double standards when it suits them. However, they fail to realize the double standards that are out here that work in their favor. This goes back to childhood. A little girl is raised to be able to get away with more things than a boy. A little girl can lie, get caught in that lie, and be let off the hook way easier than a boy simply because she's a girl. Her punishments will typically be way more lenient than a boy. Boys are raised almost from the start to take accountability, and that is key. This disparity subconsciously teaches little girls a sense of entitlement. This teaches her that she can get away with anything simply because of her gender. They learn to avoid responsibility.
Listen, men. Listen, women. Because some of y'all, many of y'all are in relationships or you plan to be in another one. You want it to work. Men, we need to understand and we need to be patient with our women. We need to be patient and understand that it's not us that's trying to teach them at a 20, 30 something, 40 something year old, 50, 60 something year old. It's not our job to do that, but it is our job as their mate to support them and be patient with them. So when you understand that she's not lying to you because she doesn't respect you, because see, women, y'all got to understand this, and men, understand this about yourself. When you're lied to, men, you automatically think that the woman disrespects you and that she doesn't value you. And that couldn't be further from the truth. The reality is, men, they actually value you and esteem you highly. So that's why they lie, because they just don't know how to show you that I'm not this trophy that you put me on this pedestal to be. Right? So they're not trying to disrespect you. In fact, they value you and they highly esteem us. That's why they lie. With certain things. Like breaking the mug. It's like, yo, I care about the mug. I'm sorry I broke your coffee mug. You know? But they don't know how to come out and just, like, you know, fall on the sword sometimes. So this is where we got to be patient as men. So understanding this about the opposite sex will help us. So first off, I didn't even know that there's that type of disparity, that type of difference of growing up. Because, yeah, as a male, we're taught to be accountable. We're taught to be, you know, say what we mean what we say. Women, they're taught to do the same. Girls, they're taught to do the same. However, when it comes down to the consequences, because it's all about consequences, skin in the game. When it comes down to the consequences of what happens to them when they lie versus what happens to us when we lie, they still come out on top. They could lie and say, yeah, he hit me and you never hit her. And you go to jail when the police show up. And there's no recourse. You can't even come back and yell at her and be mad at that woman. There's the difference. Whereas you could have a video proving that she broke into your home, beat the shit out of you, beat the snot out of you, excuse my language. She broke into your home, beat the snot out of you. Show it to the police. You have bruises. You're still bleeding. You need 28 stitches off the top of your forehead and on your left eye. And yet, they take you to jail. And they just give her a warning. That's the world we live in. Just because you're bigger than her. So you respecting the law means nothing. She gets away with more, and she knows that. So this is the reality. So, men, let's listen to what Olivia has to say. Bring it on, Olivia. Teach.
Responsibility, thinking that they're like exempt from consequences just because they're females. It's a toxic cycle that's carried into adulthood. The result is a world where too many women think that they can avoid taking responsibility in relationships, jobs, and life in general, all while blaming someone else. This is what's at the cornerstone of female liberation.
Listen, man, this woman is preaching to my ears. And many, like, I had a cousin tell me, my cousin Danica told me, she said, this was like 2 years ago. She says, Andreas, we don't like to admit when we wrong. That's just what it comes down to. And I had to break it down and say, you know, I'm not trying to make this a witch hunt on women. Nobody likes to be wrong. So this is where it's like, we're not better than you women. We don't like to be wrong. Nobody likes to be wrong. The difference is men, we learn that oftentimes admitting we're wrong just softens the blow. Because at least we can go to sleep at night and we just know it is what it is. I'm not trying to change women, y'all. This message is not, this is so men, we understand, and women, you continue to help us understand. Because, like, that's the disconnect. And also, there's women who just prey on men and the system. And so, like, women, it's time to wake up. Because these women are getting good men like me and other men. And then they're just like not taking accountability. Because they see the easy way out, or they just, not even the easy way out. Like they don't even have a heart. They just see a way that they could just blame you for everything. They might go actually have an affair. Bro, I had a friend. This woman went and had an affair. And the fact that he never cheated on her, he treated her good, she couldn't even complain about this man. But the fact that she knew that the reason why their relationship, their marriage wasn't working was because she had an affair. The fact that she couldn't even, like, she had to look good to everyone, but everyone knew. But the fact that she could not just take accountability and say, all right, I screwed up. She just couldn't do it. She ruined her marriage. She had 3 children with this man. So she screwed up 3 of her own children, not this man, like other children. Her own children's screwed them up just because, and that man would have forgiven her. That man had long forgiven, he knew what the deal was. But just so she could save face and not be accountable. It was just like, and I thought that this was a rare story. Then I'm like, wait a minute. Now listen, again, this ain't a witch hunt, because men, you know how we are. Like, it's just what it is. But like, it's, you gotta understand there's levels. And so I'm just trying to understand, like, men, you gotta be patient. Because many of you have good women. We got good women. They're out here. But what you gotta understand is don't corner her, y'all. And don't take her like not telling you the full truth about little things as if she's trying to lie to you or like disrespect you. She doesn't mean it that way. So break it down, Olivia.
Me Too, feminism,
We're wrapping this
etc.
up. We're
Always
almost
somebody else's mistake, someone else's fault, never their own. And this narrative is so pervasive that it has successfully infected society to its core. Society has given women an abundance of choices, and the downside is the more choices you tend to have, the less accountability you feel like you have to take because you can always hide behind another choice. This is why I say the vast majority of women are narcissistic in nature, and I've gotten a lot of hate from that. For anyone who doesn't believe me, let me throw some facts your way to prove my point. Number 1, female narcissists tend to hate when they're not the center of attention, and they go to excessive lengths to make sure that the spotlight is focused on them. Doesn't this sum up damn near 80% of females on social media and in society? Number 2, female narcissists tend to pursue men who are already in committed relationships, and they then aim to sabotage those relationships. How many women out here not only sleep with married men, but prefer married men or men in relationships? Number 3,
So y'all know what it is. I'm lying. Even though I'm divorced, I'm telling these women I'm married. It's like that. It's really like that. Yeah, I need to go grab another ring and just lie. Because, I be getting some play. But it's different because it's like, oh, okay. Well, pray on me, baby. I'm just kidding, y'all. I'm joking. Do not, it's satire.
narcissists tend to self-victimize. How many men are locked up right now because a woman provoked him, and then when he actually finds...
So y'all know what it is. I'm going to have the link to this video in the description box. Listen, I'm not trying to beat up on sisters. That's why the main thing is this is teaching men and teaching women the differences, because maybe you're a woman who's a younger lady or not as experienced in relationships, and you didn't know this about yourself, or you did know, but it's good to hear it and say, oh, wow, it's common with us. Like, this is a thing that we have. So now you understand, you know what it is, and you can just know a little bit more about yourself, right? So, the best type of therapy is the one that you give yourself. Believe in yourself, believe in God, you know what it is, and believe in each other, man. Believe in love. All right, y'all? Y'all be easy, man.